Congratulations, Steve. You passed your Part 3 recently, and just wanted to tell the listeners about your experience of becoming a driving instructor and your journey through as a PDI. Yep. So much congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
So just wondering then, if you could say to us, tell the listeners out there, what your training process took, how long it took you to do so.
Yeah, so it kind of took roughly 3 years, but obviously we had COVID in that time. Unfortunately, I did kind of sort of fail on the first three attempts on the go round. Reapplied and went back again. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Obviously, yourself sort of helped me out, and Carl helped me out, and Sean helped me out as well.
And how did you find the process initially from going through the stages?
Surprisingly harder than what I thought it was going to be. It was stressful, but at the same time enjoyable. And to get to the stage where you are now of passing the Part 3, I would say rewarding at times. And obviously the final reward has been obviously passing the Part 3.
Okay, and what did you expect initially of the training process with the breakdown of to become a driving instructor? Was it what you expected in the first initial stages?
Not really, to be honest with you. I thought it was more going to be sort of driving based, as in from my point of view, sort of driving based. But I kind of quickly realised that it's not really a major test on your driving ability. It's more to do with how you pass on your knowledge to the students. But I didn't realise how intense it was going to be, how involved it was going to be. But again, it's an enjoyable process.
And what did you find then most helpful about the training to be able to get to that part?
Right at the very end, you suggested, well, both you and Carl suggested, about having recording the lessons, so then we can kind of debrief the lessons as opposed to role play. I think doing that I think that was the game changer for me personally, and I'd kind of highly recommend anyone doing that, so you can bite-size or dissect your kind of the lessons. You can see where you are doing okay, where you're not doing so okay, and then use that information so you can implement that in your own lessons, so you can move forward in your own training.
So progressing your self-reflection.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Okay. Now talking then about the Part 3 itself, hopefully it's still a little bit fresh in your mind after the whirlwind of emotions and all the congratulation messages and everything you've had over the last 24 hours. How did you prepare for your Part 3?
Just plenty of training. And implementing sort of things where to improve. I suppose the key thing is not to over plan the Part 3. Say what you see. Say it's there. It says it on the tin. Mm-hmm. When you go into when you actually take your Part 3, is to do that. Say it, sort it.
Okay, good. Can I also ask you then, in regards to the lesson that you decided to perform with your pupil, what did you choose and why?
Well, I hadn't seen her for a couple of weeks due to holidays and etc. And we kind of left 2 weeks prior to that. We kind of left it that she needed to work on her mirrors. So we had a sort of half hour or so before, just to kind of reconfirm that, and that's what we kind of decided to work on is the mirror part of the MSPSL. However, that very quickly changed to sort of speed on approach to junction in relation to gears and the effect on that. So even though the goal was to make sure her mirrors got better, it actually worked out that the goal never kind of really, we got to that bit because something else cropped up. And again, if something else crops up, it's stepping onto that to rectify that, to get it correct. And if it goes well, then move on to the goal.
Okay. You mentioned previously about COVID obviously being a problem, and it elongated some of your training and maybe broke it up a little bit as well. So you've had to go through the process a bit longer than some others. What did you find different then with this particular pupil that you took on this occasion to others? What sort of level of experience did this person have?
She'd had around about 30 hours worth of driving. She was confident in her driving, but she just needed kind of more work to obviously to help her along. Obviously than what we did before.
Well, to your previous candidates, you mean? Or?
Yeah. And she was more receptive, obviously, and understood the process. So picking the right student is absolutely key. But picking the right training area again is key as well in relation to the student that you've got or that you take for your test.
And that key pupil, is that somebody then that has doesn't give you a lot to do, or is that somebody that gives you stuff to do?
No, you need someone who gives you stuff. You need to work. It's hard work. You need to work, the student needs to work you on your Part 3 test. If you take someone who's nigh on test ready, and there's not much work to do, but you need someone who's going to make you work. Someone who's kind of in the middle of the process-ish, not beginner, not test ready, but someone who's roughly in the middle, who's kind of there, but still needs your help and still needs work.
How did you feel at the end of it then? Did she make you work?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely made me work. It was the actual test itself flew by, to the point where it was kind of so involved in the actual lesson, almost forgot that the Part 3 examiner was in the back. And until he obviously said to me, obviously we need to obviously be mindful of the time, and we need to be heading back. That's kind of reaffirmed again that I was on a Part 3, and got back. And when we got back, yeah, it was good to get back. Good to get the result, but she definitely worked me on that lesson.
And on that note, would you say then it's beneficial then to be yourself and relax into what you would do on regular lessons, even though it is a Part 3 test?
Yeah. Don't plan it. Don't plan it to detail. Have a basic idea, a foundation idea of what you're going to do, and then just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. See, and just do whatever needs to be done in that moment. Don't plan it.
And just to sort of start wrapping up, really, what would you say then during your lesson? Is there anything, or can you give a summary, of the lesson of how you think you helped your pupil?
I kind of sort of safety side of things really. Obviously we've been involved with the way that she dealt with coming into junctions. But more to the end of it, and obviously pulling out of junctions, she could see it more from a safety point of view, what she had to do, what to look out for, give us some tools to kind of work with to help her make the decision. So she come out of it sort of more happy, more confident, how she approached junctions, as opposed to as the goal was set with mirrors. So the need actually ended up being her approach to junctions.
So you looking at adaptation then, really?
Adaptation, yeah. Again, that's another key point.
Mm-hmm. So would you have done anything differently, do you think?
Looking back on it now, I'd have kept some things the same. Other things I would have tidied up more, and probably prioritise bits and pieces more. But again, self-reflection.
Work on that for the standards.
Oh yes.
So and just lastly, is there any sort of final words and advice that you can give anyone else that is preparing for their Part 3? What would you say to them?
First of all, listen to you, listen to Carl, listen to Sean. If you can, sit in with any kind of ADIs, and just get snippets of advice from other people. But most of all, don't plan. Obviously, plan a little bit. Don't plan sort of too much, and just go with the flow.
To live in the moment.
Just go with the flow. Yeah, just live in the moment. Go with the flow, and don't. I know it's easy said done now, but try not to stress too much over it. And what will be will be.
Well, thank you, Steve. That's brilliant. It's nice to hear from a now ADI that you can call yourself. And congratulations again.
Lovely. Thank you very much.